The most famous and successful investor in the world, Warren Buffett, just held his annual shareholder meeting. This year was much different than any time ever before it, but it was what he said and didn't say, and more what he did and didn't do that really tells us what we really need to know. And in this video, I'm going to explain what he's doing, what he said, and what we should be doing if we want to follow the most successful investor in history. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, my name is Mark Moss. I like to talk about making money, investing money, and just having overall success. If you like any of those topics, which I'm sure you do, make sure to click the like and subscribe button right now. Now, today we are talking about Warren Buffett. They just had his annual shareholder meeting for Berkshire Hathaway. I'm sure you know who Warren Buffett is. He's probably the most famous, most successful investor in the world. Sometimes I refer to him as Uncle Warren because he gives us so much good information, so much good advice. And his company, Berkshire Hathaway, they have their annual shareholder meetings. They call them Woodstock for Capitalists. And normally this is a really big event. All the shareholders show up and it's this giant party basically. But this year was different. Obviously, we're not having big gatherings, and so really it was just a made-for-TV event. And if you are a Berkshire Hathaway investor, then you were invited to watch it. Like I said, so this year was just way different than ever before. Usually it's just this big over-the-top event, but this year it wasn't. It was just him talking, and so it really let us focus more on what he was saying, but also not just what he was saying, but what he didn't say, right? And also he showed us what he did and what he didn't do. And so a lot of times those were more important. It's not what I say, it's what I do kind of a thing, right? And so during his annual speech, he gave us all types of clues, which I'm going to break down for you right now. And then it went into this like long question and answer session where he went even deeper into what he was doing. And so for the most part, what he was saying is he repeated what he always says. And so Warren Buffett, he's a big believer in America. And he basically says, never bet against America. He believes in America as the land of investment opportunity, the way that it's been the entire time that he's grown up, the way that it still is today. So he believes that America is the land of investment opportunity. And he went on to say that he is still as convinced as he ever was. He's still as convinced as he was after World War II. He's as convinced as he was during the Cuban Missile Crisis, as convinced as he was after 9/11, after the 2008 financial crisis. And basically what he's saying is that nothing can stop America. Never bet against America. He went on to say that if you had to pick one single time to be born, and there was one place to be born, he said you wouldn't pick 1720. He said you wouldn't pick 1820. He said you wouldn't pick 1920. He said you'd pick today. He said you'd pick today and you'd pick America. That's how sold he is. So he said that ever since America was organized, people have always wanted to come here. They've always wanted to come here for a better life, for a chance to get ahead, for that American dream. And so better than any time in history, better than any place, right here, right now, is what he said. So basically it was like a giant pep talk. Got everybody feeling good, and America's going to bounce back. The markets are going to bounce back. This V-shaped recovery everybody's hoping for. However, as he got more into the details, I think there was a lot more information coming out if you read in between the lines. So what he said was, don't bet against America. This is the best time, the best place, etc. But like I said, the details in between the lines give us a little bit more, and especially if we look at the short terms. What we saw is that Berkshire Hathaway, his company, reported a net loss of $50 billion in Q1 of this year, in the first quarter of 2020. A $50 billion loss, which is massive. In addition to that, they're sitting on almost $140 billion in cash. And so one of the questions I get asked all the time is, how much should I have invested? How much cash should I have saved? And I always talk about having a cash allocation. Well, take it from Warren. He has $140 billion in cash, not in position. All right, so just let that sink in. We're going to keep going here. But basically, they lost $50 billion. They have $147 billion in cash, or $137 billion in cash, and they have $10 billion more than what they started the year off with, which means they've been liquidating stocks, building up their cash reserves. And so that's what Berkshire is actually doing. He's telling us to bet on America, but the reality is that's what he's saying. The reality is what he's doing is he's not. He's liquidating positions. He's holding massive amounts of cash. and he lost massive amounts of cash. So it's basically contradicting what he's saying, the whole bet on America. And it actually shows that his company, Berkshire Hathaway, they're not as confident on America as they lead you on to believe. They don't really appear to be confident on America at all. I mean, Buffett sold every single share of his airline holdings. So we're talking billions and billions of dollars in stocks. He sold American Airlines, Southwest Airlines, United Airlines, Delta Airlines, sold them all. They're all gone, sold every share. And when the Berkshire Hathaway stock crashed, just like the rest of the stock market crashed, instead of rushing in to buy more of his stock, instead of buying the dip, he did buy a little bit, but he just bought a little bit. So instead of buying the dip like so many people were rushing into, Warren Buffett purchased Berkshire Hathaway stock of $1.7 billion, which sounds like a lot, but it was only 1% of their total cash holdings. So not a lot of conviction there, not a lot of conviction to buy the dip. So if you want to know what Warren Buffett's true beliefs about the market are, like I've been saying, right, watch what people do, not what they say. So while he's telling us to bet on America, telling people now is the best time, buy the dip, basically, he's not. He sold his positions. He's sitting on the most cash that he's ever had on the sidelines before. He's not buying the dip, and he's not even buying the dip in his own country. But that's not all he gave us. He gave us even more to go with. So maybe the biggest alarm that he sounded was when he was asked about interest rates. And he was asked specifically about negative interest rates in Europe and Japan. So about half the global debt, or maybe more now at this point, is in negative yielding rates. And for those of you guys that are new to the channel, what that basically means is that normally when I loan you money, you pay me my money back plus interest. I make a little bit of money. Well, negative rates means I'm paying you to borrow my money. And we're seeing this in over half the world right now. So he was asked about these negative rates in Europe and Japan. And he said, quote, if you're going to have negative interest rates and pour out money and incur more and more debt relative to productive capacity, you'd think the world would have discovered it in the first couple thousand years rather than just coming onto it now, end quote. So he's saying, if this is such a good thing, you think we would have figured this out thousands of years ago, right? If it's such a good thing, if it's this new magic trick that is going to work forever, why are we just finding out about this now? Is kind of what he's saying, kind of tongue-in-cheek a little bit. And he's basically showing that what we're doing is new, it's unique, it's novel. It's not something that we can continue to keep doing. And then he continued to say, quote, can we keep doing what we're doing now? The world's been able to do it now a dozen years or so, but we may be facing a period where we're testing that hypothesis with a lot more force than we've tested before. I wish I knew the answer, end quote. So Warren Buffett, it is not a new invention. He doesn't think it's going to go on forever. He says he wishes he knew the answer. He doesn't. We're in uncharted territory. Nobody knows. But I think I might know the answer. I think a lot of even you know the answer, right? And Buffett just doesn't want to go out and say it. But basically, negative rates, zero rates, negative rates, they're here to stay, right? And the fact that we're stuck here with these zero negative rates, it's going to have massive implications. It's going to lead to dire, even severe consequences for many if you're not paying attention, but you're watching this video, so you are paying attention. All right. Now, it's not all doom and gloom here. For those that are paying attention, this is going to be a massive opportunity. Now, on the next video, I'm going to dive into this a little bit deeper. I'm going to dig into a speech a little bit more, and I'm going to tell you exactly where we should be focused. I'm going to show you exactly how we can use all this information for our advantage. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure to click the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you're notified as soon as that video comes out. Tune in on Thursday. If you're watching this live, tune in on Thursday to find out the rest, or just find it on the next video in the sequence. And that's all I got for you today. If you like what Warren Buffett said, give me some thumbs up on this video. If you don't like the video, give me some thumbs down. Either way, but let me know. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Warren Buffett's comments. Let me know if you think we are in uncharted territory and we are going into the doom and gloom, or if you're ready to see the opportunities that are still out there. That's all I got for you today. To your success. I'm out.